And now, your official TigerBait live show with Mike Scarborough and Buddy Songy starts now.
All right, Tiger fans, welcome in another edition of TigerBait Live. Had a pretty long week so far at LSU. Practice every day. We've been out at every one of them. Been laying on the sunscreen, but I think we've seen a whole lot of personnel packages and a lot of position groups between Buddy and I the 3 days this week and where things are heading. What is this? 11, 12, 13 practices this week, and of course a big one on Saturday that we'll be at. But we're the recovery day tomorrow, no access on Friday, back out there on Saturday. But big show tonight. We're going to have a lot of topics to discuss LSU football-wise, everything we've been seeing, and where do they head from here. Brian Kelly was really good today, I think, in touching on a lot of these subjects that we're going to broach tonight. So hit that like button if you enjoy the show. And as always, Mike Scarborough here with my cohort, Buddy Songy. Welcome in.
Good to see you, Mike. You know, Mike dresses always so dapper. And, you know, the other day I was trying to throw water on him to chill him out. Oh, don't get it on my sunglasses. But we're quite different. We have a lot of fun. We give you different opinions. And one thing we all can agree on, it is an exciting time. That anticipation when Mike Scarborough finally ties the knot again. That anticipation with LSU football, 18 days away. It is mindset day. And I have a bunch of words that all start with C that we're going to talk about at some point in the show. But hope everybody's doing well. Hope we're staying hydrated out there. And look, this is the toughest week of the fall camp. They are beating them down. They're pushing them. They mofoing them. This is not for the weak. You got to have thick skin, but you come out of this 2 weeks from now and you will see an appreciably different attitude. A lot of hard work to do, a lot of little nuances, a lot of attention to detail, but there's a potential that it's going to be a really exciting season.
Well, and that's what he talked about today. When it gets to be where you've had these multiple days of practice and this heat and heat index, and he's gradually increasing the amount of time that they're outdoors and getting them acclimated to it. And what he's saying is, look, you're going to see who his dogs are. Who are the guys that are going to be in the fourth quarter when they need to win a close football game? Who are the guys that are out there that are grinding and fighting at the end of these tough practices versus the ones who are wilting like flowers? And it sure seemed to me, based on his comments, that he likes what he's seeing. But you're also going to get to the point now, early next week, where they got to start pulling back and start getting the legs underneath all these guys and have them prepared for USC. So, look, you know, gone are the days where you go to the first day of football camp and we see a lot of drills and fundamentals and tackle. A lot of that stuff's done during the summer. I mean, they hit the ground running day one, working on concepts, position groups and all that stuff. So, you know, and that's, you know, as the NCAA rules just keep changing, the amount of stuff that they're allowed to do in the summer away from fall camp, you know, they're much further ahead now than they typically are. So, you know, I'm starting to, you know, media people are starting to get to the point where they got to start making predictions. I think most media people are going to do it game week. And like clockwork, I'm starting to hear some media people start to add an extra win or two to what they thought. And,
what?
Oh yeah, it's typical.
Hey, Tiger fans, I'm going to tell you one thing Mike Scarborough doesn't want to admit. LSU's undefeated right now. And you know I'm superstitious. And the AP comes out at 13. You know I hate that number. And the coach is at 12. But it's a decent starting point. LSU last year was 5. And you don't have Malik Neighbors. You don't have Brian Thomas Jr. You don't have Jaden Daniels. Those are 3 millionaires because they came to LSU and what they did. But there are a lot of ways to skin a cat. And that's the fun part of it, Mike, for me and you to try to tell those people with our eyes and ears and what we're picking up, how LSU is going to kick the football off on Sunday night at 6:30 on ABC, and how they're going to start to try to win the first game against the Trojans. And then once that's done, you're going to be favored heavily in the next 4. So we get back to the importance of that first game, but they're not ready to play a game. And if you heard Coach Kelly with the tape today, got to line up, got to call timeout at the right time, got to make sure that you have composure and not get in fights. We'll get into all of that with my C's, but I think 2 or 3 more grind days and Saturday, and then after that, they'll back off and start to go with the depth chart and get those guys ready.
Absolutely. Devin Johnson with a super chat. I'm just going to say it, 9-3 at best. Go Tigers. Devin's with us every week. And
thank you, Devin.
I think a lot of people are in the 9-3 camp. Jack Frost says 9-3. Thank you for that super chat, Devin. All right, let's scroll up. Roger Ramjet, he's typically first. Hey, Mike and Buddy, good to be with you. Always enjoy the show. Go Tigers. Edo, Nuss Bus Driver, go Tigers. Who dat? Good evening, Mike and Buddy.
Hey, who dat? One of our new listeners. We picked him up. He's a big Saints fan.
Yeah.
And look, he loves him some LSU football. And I think his favorite player this year is number 4, Harold Perkins. Who dat to him and his brothers and sisters and family. Let's talk real quick. How many sacks you think Perk's going to have?
I thought you were going to say how many wins for the Saints.
No. I don't care about the Saints.
I don't know. I don't know.
We put the over and under at 8. You going above or below?
I just don't. I want to know how they're going to use Perkins.
Yeah.
I don't know that they're going to, do the edge stuff.
Well, he did say they are going to be nasty on 3rd down. So I think, and this is one thing I keep talking about, I think you're going to enjoy watching LSU play defense because everybody still has etched in their mind all the things that happen with that soft-ass zone. And this year, you heard me say, it's got to get after their butts, and we'll see.
You said something earlier that I was actually thinking this earlier today. Like, Mike Denbrock was hilarious to me. Just hearing him cuss out there and rip on players, but it was his way of words was funny to me. Probably because he was using some of the same curse words that I usually use. But I'm trying to wonder, who is the cream of the crop of those? Because, we've heard Bo Davis. We've heard Brad Davis. I don't ever see Joe Sloan. Joe Sloan can get mad, but he's not a big – I don't see him cussing a lot. Maybe he does it in the meeting room. Frank is kind of Corey's kind of quiet. I don't see Baker being a cussing guy. Do you ever hear Peoples talk? Peoples is kind of, you hear much out of Peoples, but it's like between Brad Davis and Bo Davis, and some of it's hilarious. Bo Davis the other day when they were switching fields. It
is R-rated. By the way, Brian Kelly basically said what we've been saying. He wouldn't trade. We said he wouldn't trade Brad Davis and Bo Davis. He wouldn't trade Kevin Peoples for any edge rush coach in the country. So, folks, I'm going to continue to impress upon you. You have appreciably better coaching. Take a patience pill. They're not going to be great by game 1. By game 3, they're going to be better. By game 5, you're going to have an idea of how good they are. But these coaches on the defensive staff, Mike, I think that's why LSU is going back to having the kind of defense that a lot of our viewers have seen for many, many years.
Fire 3449 says, hit the like button, everybody. Please do. Absolutely. And also do me a favor, share the link to the show to your fellow LSU fans. Share it on your Facebook wall, text it out to your fellow LSU fans, and let them know we're live and turn them on to the show. And of course, hit that subscribe button, notification bell. Chance Babin, LSU dodged a bullet with that. Tank Guillory wasn't hurt. We can't afford to lose any. And what did I say earlier? He's good for over and under of at least 2 unsportsmanlike conducts. I love Jacobian. Been covering him since he was a sophomore in high school. But the last couple of years, he gets hot-headed and does these things. And just like you said, the worst thing that could happen would be for him to throw a punch and hit a helmet with his hand and break his hand. You can't have any of that kind of stuff.
90. They need you, dude. This is your freaking year. We know him and Perk like to show as their brand, they're tough guys. We know that. Perkins did it too. Perkins had a couple of 15-yarders last year. And it's cool to get hit and then hit back and you get caught. But come on, Jacobian, man, composure. You got to have more composure. And I think that as a senior, this guy's got to do a better job. I'm sure they're going to talk to him and say, you can't do it.
Man, they've been talking to him for years. It's just I don't know how you get through to him. There's been multiple coaches. They're all on him. Andy Alexander with a super chat. Love the show. Can we expect a Colt David and Matt Flynn no-look pass again when they play South Carolina?
I tell you what. Who's that?
That's Andy Alexander.
Andy, that is the famous over the shoulder with Flint. Colt David, of course, was the place kicker.
Spurrier,
but Colt David looked like he ran 4.3. He ran into the end zone so fast. Spurrier, all he could do was laugh. But that is so funny you brought that up. Wouldn't that be nice to see LSU have a little tricks in the special teams game? I'm going to tell you right now, folks, USC's got an All-American receiver who just made first-team All-American today as a punt returner. They also have blocked 4 punts in the last 4 games of their regular season. You better have special teams, every I dotted and T crossed, or we're going to be saying the same old stuff. You don't want to start off with a loss because of special teams.
That's both USC's. Nobody talks about that South Carolina game because that game scares me.
Well, and that's Beamer's boy. His daddy was Frank Beamer, who was king of the special teams.
11 a.m.
And blocked a punt against Saban when they got beat.
11 a.m. kickoff in Columbia. They're not going to know whether they're good or bad. They're going to, be feeling good about themselves. You could have a special team snafu, a nuss pick.
What?
Yeah. Not stopping the run, whatever it can be. And next thing you know, you're in trouble.
Paul Maneri will be introduced either before the game or at halftime. He's going to, hey, everybody, I still love you. And then you're going to go out there.
You know, buddy. I recruited 19 players on this team that Jay's winning with.
Yeah, that's a good impression. But I like it. LSU keeps Nuss healthy. I keep saying this. And beats USC. Then you got a chance to really have a special year. If Nuss gets hurt, and I asked everybody, bring your rosary beads in the game. But if he gets hurt, there's going to be a lot of drinking during the year.
Yeah, that was basically me imitating Jacques doing.
Right, okay.
Thanks for the super chat. Kenny Haynes, what no Nittany Lion hat tonight, Mike?
Oh.
A couple people thought that hat I was wearing today was a Penn State. That is St. Thomas More Cougars in Lafayette. My buddy Blaine Berrio, attorney in Lafayette, gave me that hat. He's got his logo on the side of it. I'll wear other high school hats. I'm supposed to have one for Madison Prep.
Well, let's make sure.
My guy Ross is supposed to get me one.
But let's make sure we appreciate Shark sponsors the post-game show with Mike and Preston, and he's a big part of the site. He is incredible legal advice. He gives it for free. You got to love it when him and Snake get cross-haired. But appreciate Kenny and what all the guys bring to the site.
Absolutely. John Sibley Butler with a super chat. Thank you, Mr. Sibley Butler. By the way,
that's Dr. John Sibley Butler.
Let me tell you something.
A Hall of Famer in both Texas and LSU, folks. This guy's a real deal.
Mr. Butler, I went snooping. Dr. Butler.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a resume on him.
Unbelievable, dude.
I saw some lectures that he gave on YouTube. I went to watch a few of them. Very, very impressive.
He has mentored athletes and people for many, many years. We respect you, Doc, and I hate to see it.
I can't believe how old he is. And I mean,
we don't talk age.
No, but he looks fantastic.
But look, it burns my heart up that Texas has already lost a couple of running backs. It's not fair. Steve Sarkisian in Texas, Dr. John, I'm sorry. I'm not feeling the love this year. It starts with the head coach and his problems. I'm not saying they're going to lose to Michigan. They're going to lose a game or two this year.
He says, Nuss is a GPS will make us go. Which past quarterback is he closest to? Mettenberger, Russell, Etling, Flynn, Malk, Lee, Randall, Hodson, Jefferson, Davey, or St. Burrow in terms of attitude and confidence?
Well, I was going to say, we don't really know what Nuss is right now, folks. He's going to get on the job training and grow up in front of all of us.
I'm going to see if I can combine a few. I think there's a little bit of Malk in him.
Confidence and attitude?
Just, who does he remind you of?
Matt Malk said he reminds.
I think there's a little bit of Malk in him.
Matt Malk said Nuss reminds him of a Brett Favre type of quarterback. He's going to throw some picks, but he's also
we've always said that.
But he's also going to make some incredible plays.
But
he's going to be a guy.
But there's not a guy like that in LSU history to compare him to.
Yeah, right.
But everybody's always compared him to Brett Favre. Now, is he a true Brett Favre, or is he a dime store Brett Favre?
Well,
if he throws too many picks, we're going to be talking about he's Dollar General Brett Favre midseason.
He's going to throw some picks, so don't freak out when that happens. He's going to throw some. But
I think he's going to average at least one a game.
Yeah, I think he'll have double-digit picks. But it's hard, Dr. Sibley, because we haven't seen him under fire. What we see him, look, Joe Burrow, we all remember, was Joe Burrow in 19. John Emery didn't know what was going on and sent him back to the bench. He was supreme confidence. He was a player's coach, lifted with the O-lineman, had great leadership, all of that. Nuss is similar to that. But once again, nobody's got any skins on the wall. So I don't think we can say what he's like until we see him play a little bit.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Butler.
Thank you, Dr. Butler.
Absolutely.
You're a legend.
Yeah, Kenny Futch, pulmonary talks like Mr. Rogers. All right. We got to do this little thing here. And what does it start with? It starts with Pride Roofing, our title sponsor, and been with us now for a year, since day one. And let's hear from Mike and Alex.
Hi, I'm Michael with Pride Roofing.
I'm little Alex.
Have you been affected by wind, hail, and tornadoes on the North Shore? Well, we're here to help.
Insurance claim, no problem.
We also have a new franchise location in New Orleans.
We don't build projects, we build memories.
Though you know Pride Roofing is the official roofer at TigerBait.com.
In fact, notify TigerBait and we'll give you a free roof inspection. And on top of that, you get a free year subscription. Remember to call us at 855-PRIDE-16.
There you go, 855-PRIDE-16, free roof inspection. Say TigerBait. They're going to pay for you to have TigerBait Premium for a year. That's a $99 value. They're footing the bill for it anywhere in South Louisiana. Of course, home office in Hammond. Mike Faraday of Broadmoor High, an LSU grad. Alex, great people. Close to $2 to $3 million in shingles in stock in their yard. You're not going to be waiting months for your shingles to come in to have your roof done when you're in a hurry. And they're going to, like Buddy always says, they're going to sharpen the pencil, deal with your insurance adjuster. They use all the same software as insurance adjusters. They're on a first name basis with all of them. So Baton Rouge, Homeland, New Orleans, Hammond, North Shore, Mandeville, Madisonville, you name it, they've got you covered in South Louisiana. And nobody's going to warranty that new roof better than they are.
Job well done is a job done by Pride and with Pride. And folks, all we ask is that you give them an opportunity. Look, there's a lot of people that advertise on TV. You can see a silly ass roofing commercial every 30 minutes if you're looking. We're not going to do that. We go by word of mouth. They use Mike and myself to help promote PFM, and hundreds of you have done business with them. As we said, metal roofs, that metal roof game has changed tremendously since the acquisition of Crown Metals. They do a great job, residential, commercial, metal, whatever you want, give them an opportunity, 855-PRIDE-16. And I think we said this a couple of years ago, getting into football, that Brian Kelly was going to bring back pride to the Tiger fan base. And that particular year, they happened to beat two teams in the top 10. Alabama came in here undefeated and LSU beat them, and Ole Miss came here undefeated in 22 and LSU beat them. And so they brought back some of that pride. Now let's see if they can bring back a little bit of that pride. And when you have the best edge rush coach in the country, that means you're going to get pressure from the edge that you didn't get. And that invariably means the quarterback has less time to throw, which invariably means the secondary is going to look better. Bring back a little pride, do business with them. You won't be disappointed.
All right. Brad David with a super chat. Why does LSU not have a full-time special teams coordinator? Could that be too much on Coach Nagel's plate? I think that they've figured out a system where each one of them's got a little bit of responsibility involved in that. And, until it fails miserably, I don't have a problem with it. I like the fact that you've got Bo Davis and Peoples, two guys on the defensive line. You got your DC, who's a linebackers coach. You got a corners coach, a safeties coach. I like the way that they're doing it. I think, I'd have to go look around. I mean, is there a lot of schools kind of doing something similar?
Well, a lot of schools have a specialized special coach. I think it's a great question. And look, I think that the 5 defensive coaches that he has is the best group that he's obviously had here, considering what he had before. And you got to like the offensive staff as well. But special teams is so specialized. A lot of people were upset that Greg McMahon didn't get an opportunity to coach special teams. Now, why that didn't happen, I don't know. But I'll tell you what, that first game is going to give LSU a big-time test. And I'm not going to lie, I was disappointed. This man's coaching the football team. He's out there all the time. But he said they might have 2 punters. And from what we've seen, it's a no-doubter who should be the punter. But you still got to hold. You still got to get a kick in time. And don't be shocked if USC comes after a punt or 2 in that opening game. You don't want to dominate the first quarter and then give up a couple faux pas in special teams. But I think it's a great question. And when I asked him about special teams, he deferred. Slade Nagel is actually the special teams title coach, but Bob Diaco is doing most of the special teams work along with those other coaches.
Brad, thank you for that super chat. E-Dub the fourth, you can't depend on 90. He is always in the middle of scuffles and practicing games. And that's something that's really in the last couple of years has seemed to have gotten ratchet up with Jacobian. We'll see. Yeah. Rick Cloetti, Mike and Buddy, y'all need to stay hydrated during those practices coverage pieces. We appreciate the great updates. Man, I think we're both hydrated. You just go out there and you stand there for a while, and that heat just beating on you. And so it's like, man, we know how we feel coming out of there. I mean, what about these football players? I mean, we sound like we're whining in a bunch of candies. And then you look at these football players carrying all that gear and all the running and everything they do. Of course, they're 40 years younger than 50 years younger than us, but yeah. Okay. Here we go. Fire 3449. Mike, since they are celebrating 100 years of Tiger Stadium, can we also honor Jim Hawthorne? Have they not done anything for him? And what would you do for him?
Yeah, that's a good question. Look, the last time I talked to Jim was a year or 2 ago, and of course he's getting up there now. I think Jim's 77 or 78 now. But look, that's going to be a special night, night of October 12th. No telling who will be there. I'm sure Scott Woodward will be bringing a lot of those people back.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know Jim Hawthorne personally, but
you haven't listened to me all these years?
I kind of thought, he always ways from others. It seemed like he was the guy who shied away from.
Really? I think he was scared of those guns of yours.
Being, noted and stuff like that, but we'll see. Yeah, Carl Dunn. Good evening, Mike and Buddy. High school scrimmages start next week. Yeah, I'm going to be trying to hit a few of them. I'm looking to come up with that schedule.
I am so glad Carl's watching the show tonight. He moved up another spot. We gripe about LSU. Some people like 13. I don't. I thought they should have been 11 or 12. But Carl Dunn moved up from 24 to 23. Eddie Fuller's still the top high school official in the state, but Dunn is in the top 25. So kudos to you, Carl.
There you go. USC is gone. USC number 1 in the chat. He's been banned. All right.
I've been laughing at his responses to some of the reports and all. And I quite frankly, do you know anybody that goes to the USC boards and interacts and has gotten any information?
I'm sure there is. That's
well,
something.
what is USC?
That's something that's something I would have done when I was 15.
No, but what do you think the talk is at USC right now? I haven't heard it much. I'll get into it maybe.
I think they're probably like LSU fans. They're feeling pretty good. They filling their oats. They like new hires and new players and transfer portal. And everybody thinks they're undefeated until they get punched in the face week 1.
Must win for both Lincoln Riley and, of course, Brian Kelly.
All right.
Not for job security, but just for starting the season the right way.
There you go. TigerBait live shows are probably brought to you by this football season by Stroube Seafood and Steaks, located at 107 3rd Street in downtown Baton Rouge. Stroube's prides itself on providing a 5-star dining experience for a reasonable price. Stroube's is locally owned with ownership in the building daily, taking a level of pride in the food and service you just won't see from any corporate establishment. Stroube's features a full menu of specialty meats, including USDA prime Black Angus steaks and 100% certified Wagyu New York strip. For those looking for something outside of red meat, they offer items such as dry-aged pork chop, black truffle lobster pasta, redfish, and plenty more. Book your reservation online tonight at Stroube's.com. Make sure to let them know TigerBait sent you in, and you see that cowboy ribeye in that photo. That was one I had there about a month ago, and it's one of the best steaks I've had in years. And Stroube's is absolutely fantastic downtown Baton Rouge. Get over and check them out.
You know, we talked about, Coach, one of the C's I'm going to get on to is consistency. Very consistency. I love the pork chop. You like the steak and the cowboy steak and the ribeye and all that better, but that pork chop is to die for.
Yeah, the pork chops look great.
Really good.
Gerald Couture, LSU will be better than a 7 or 8 win team. Bama, I can see falling to the 7 or 8 best SEC team, though. What did I see on Monday? Who was that put that out? They said LSU's ceiling was 10-2. Their floor was 5-7. I tend to think the ceiling is 10-2, but I think the floor it would be more like 7-5. That 5-7 is ridiculous.
An especially stupid programming network known as ESPN. Look, they do this ESPN FPI, and it doesn't make any sense. After 19, LSU was still number 2 in the FPI. They'd just beaten the 1, 2, and 3. So some crazy stats coming out there. I asked you last week how many games LSU would be favored in. You know what it is right now on the early line?
Everyone?
11. They're a dog at Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Those lines will change as we get results.
That's been all off season.
But I'm just saying, nobody knows right now. If you're thinking 7 and 8, it could happen. But on the other hand, I just see a lot more upside.
To me, if you go 10 if LSU is going to go 10-2, you have to have a unbelievable run of luck injury wise, and that includes Nussmeier not missing any time at all throughout the entire football season, and no injuries on your OL or DL.
Well, look, and they're dropping like flies around the conference. So, but Nuss has got to stay healthy. Will Campbell, who, by the way, made first-team All-American today. Harold Perkins made first-team All-American today. Emory Jones, who got into the tiff with Jacoby and Gilroy, wasn't happy about it because they put him at second-team All-American. So Big 5-0, man, they're going to have a pancake contest. I'm a little more positive. I had a hat that I wanted to wear tonight that said half full. Mike's got one ordered that says half empty. We're in between. Mike's thinking 8-4, 9-3. I'm thinking 9-3 or 10-2. But once again, all you have to do is beat that opponent on a given Saturday. They're not going to look great on September 1. You got too many new players, a whole new defensive staff, new specialists, new kickers. And so you still win that game, they get better and they get better. And so my contention is this. If you beat USC, you should win the first 5, and you definitely should win the last 3, which is at Florida, hosting Vandy, and hosting Oklahoma. That's 8 games right there for me. The other 4, as we know, Ole Miss and Bama at home. Do you split that, lose those 2, and then on the road at Arkansas and at A&M? Very hard to win back-to-back games on the SEC back-to-back weeks. We know that. So that's why A&M's a favorite. But if you look at like that USC game sets up LSU for a 9 or 10 year. They lose that game and Nuss gets hurt. Holy cow.
Yeah.
But I'm more positive. Then again, I've been following a long time. Mike has too. We see some weaknesses. We see some good things. I'm going to give you the list of what Brian Kelly needs to have for them to compete for the 12 this year, and it's all related with C words.
Yeah, it looks like I got some bunch of guys we got to get out here tonight. Notre Dame fans in here starting trouble as well.
Death.
I do, Brad. Do y'all think South Carolina could be a trap game, or LSU went? Look, LSU could end up blowing them out. I just think that's not a game. To me, that's a dangerous football game. I was saying in the offseason, man, what if that game ends up being a night game in Columbia? And then we got, early word quickly it was going to be an 11. But even then, I mean, it's 11, Eastern time zone, Of course, that whole LSU early game stuff, they got rid of that gree decades ago.
Well, and it's on the road. But let me tell you this, folks. South Carolina has a couple of big quarterbacks that are 225, 230, 235 that can run. So that's going to be really – USC is probably going to put close to 400 yards on LSU. I mean, folks, if you know anything about their offense, it's not saying that they're not going to be better than last year. I think they'll be appreciably better. But USC is going to get some yardage. But stopping that option, tackling the quarterback, getting people down their ground. And here's the thing that we're going to wait to see. Does LSU pound the football with that big O-line because you're going to like the running game? Caleb Jackson is ready to bust out. We know in Baton Rouge, as Tiger people, we know how good that kid can be. This year, the nation's going to find out how good he can be. And that is if Coach Frank plays him when he's hot, and doesn't take him out the freaking game. And I think he will, because the kid has become a lot better running back.
Was it Cobble today that asked the question that kind of referenced Frank's running back rotation?
Yeah.
And
But
I could see Kelly didn't know how to answer. It was a kind of question where Kelly could have really went after him, but he didn't. But it's I'm not the only, and I think maybe you kind of agree with. We're not the only ones that get after Frank for the running back rotation.
But they tell me Caleb is doing so much better. By the way, folks, one of the big changes in his game, which is so damn exciting to me, is that he is turning those shoulders and he is catching the football. And when he turns up, I demonstrated this to one. He sees somebody coming up to tackle him. He lowers the pad level, initiates the contact, and literally runs over that guy. And so I think one of the things we're going to love.
You better not be only two steps in front of him. That's your only choice, because if you're 8 or 9 steps away from him, you're in trouble.
Oh yeah. But anyway, and then don't sleep on Josh Williams. I know people don't give bouquets for him. I think he's going to probably be the obvious wearer of number 18 this year. He is exactly what exemplifies 18. And then Caden Durham, once again, 29, freshman, got a lot of hop, a lot of gear, a lot of speed. And then John Emery at the end of practice today. They were going inside drills, goal line situation, really in there, not thud. They were going all the way to the ground. Thud means you don't go to the ground. You stay up. John Emery scores one. He's been a little bothered with the knee. They're trying to get him around. Also, real quick, Zy Alexander getting better this week. Nobody has a percentage. Sounds like they're getting better. I think they hope he's going to be able to play against USC. Just don't know how much right now.
Fire 3449. Mike, any news on the two-sport kid, Jonah Williams? You're obviously talking about. I heard Jay went and did an in-home visit and is giving a great effort. Man, Jay, I can tell you what I know. Jay Johnson wants that kid bad. Now,
but the in-home was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, I need to get some more information, obviously. I tend to think that was looking pretty hardcore Texas a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I don't know that things changed on that. I know Jay Johnson wants him bad, but everybody in Texas tells me that football is his love. The dad is the baseball guy.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that they got Slosh over from Texas A&M, plus the big money deal, he will get paid baseball NIL money and football NIL money. I think it's going to be tough to
By
get
the
him
way,
out of the state.
And I'm told the NIL package that Jay
it was very
football
very,
had was
super hot.
It was Bryce Underwood money.
Yeah, exactly.
The number I was told. Yeah. So I think had he come in on that Bayou splash, that kind of, and when he didn't, and I know everybody immediately started spinning it, but
that's right. It was good to get CJ with the commitment. Also got another D tackle. We really hadn't talked about it much, but another D tackle. Yeah, there's a 3-star, but when Alabama, Georgia, and other people are offering him that, talk a little bit about him.
Yeah, I mean, you're 6'3", 315. Keep taking them. We've seen 3 and low 4-star kids over the years be the best performers at LSU. I like it, and keep taking them.
Well, and you
get you 1 or 2 more if you can, and then go in the portal and get you another one. Load up.
You're getting coached up by Bo Davis. I mean, you even got to admit, seeing those guys, and look, it is not for the faint of the heart and the thin skin, because these guys, and this is really, really the toughest part of the camp. I think that they're going to find out who they can depend on after the rest of the week. Still got tomorrow and Friday and then Saturday. And so, look, all those D linemen, LSU's going to have D line for days. They got a lot of depth. By the way, I apologize. I left out Gio Pius in the report today. I liked his interview. I don't know if you saw.
Yeah, he's good.
Everybody in the locker room loves this guy. He's played a lot of football, and LSU has a lot more experience on defense than you realize. And you say, yeah, but they haven't been that good. Well, we'll see. But Gio Pius, that's going to be interesting to see what kind of reps he gives them on a game-to-game basis.
Got a brand new attitude, like bing bang boom on a pink balloon, like I just do what I want to do, like ooh, brand new.
There you go. Jaron Guidry, the sales manager, Blake Mesh, salesman of the year, Genesis of Lafayette. There's a reason why the Genesis of Lafayette dealership sells more Genesis vehicles than any other dealer in the state of Louisiana. Great deals. They're going to go the extra mile. They'll go 4 or 5 states over to find the exact model you want. You want a particular color. You want a particular interior. They're going to locate it for you and go. We went shopping for them. Nobody wanted to help us. Did that for 6-7 months. She knew exactly what she wanted. Finally, I called Genesis Lafayette. We had a vehicle in 2 weeks. They went all the way to Key West, Florida to get it. And interest rates right now through Genesis Financial are fantastic. Go test drive a GV70, a GV80, any of their sedans. There's a reason why U.S. News and World Report rates everything that Genesis makes either number 1 or in the top 2 or 3 in their category. 877-856-2961. Call for your test drive. Tell them TigerBait sent you. And I don't care where you're at in Louisiana, it's worth the drive. It's worth the phone call. They would have delivered it to our driveway here in Baton Rouge, and we wouldn't even have gone to Lafayette if we wanted that. That's the extra mile. Genesis of Lafayette. Nobody does it better than them, and you're going to get a fantastic vehicle. And like we like to say, Tiger Woods is alive thanks to that GV80.
And let me tell you this, that vehicle is almost as beautiful as your fiance.
Yeah.
Really classy looking, and she deserves it. She is tickled pink. And as we always say, had Tiger Woods, and he has that sponsorship with the tournament and all that, but had he been in another vehicle, we probably wouldn't be talking about him.
He's going 100 and how many miles?
Yeah.
He wasn't going slow. All right, here we go. Brad David, Mike, do you think LSU will have any day games at home? How many we got?
The schedule is already. I think they've got a
3 or 4. We don't know times.
Well, no, they have the times, but they have a window, and I don't have it in front of me, but I know a lot of them. Ole Miss is at night. I forgot, but there's a window. But
I don't think any of them will be.
None of them will be the early morning. If you might have a 2:30 or 3 o'clock game or whatever, but for the most part, the scheduling times look to be conducive for a good season.
All right. Let's see.
Jake Peets.
Paul Escine, don't you two get tired of each other? I'm hearing 18 has to go to Austin Osbury or Sage Ryan.
Paul hates that tradition of 7 and 18, and I had to mess with him. Look,
I'm glad I'm not the only sourpuss with that.
Will Campbell
I think he should skip some
is
years.
not going to give up that 7. Okay. Now he can't wear it during the game, so there won't be anybody.
I mean, it wouldn't offend me if 18 went away for 4 or 5.
Well, and a lot of
give
people
it out to
said
somebody who really is something. There's a special circumstance.
Well, I
somebody
think,
who's come back from like non-Hodgkin's lymphoma or something.
No,
you know.
Well,
to me, it should be something really special.
And I'm just saying it. I think Williams will get to 18, and I know there's idiosyncrasies. Look, I don't like them being voted 13. I'm superstitious about that, but he likes to have fun with us. By the way, Paul and a lot of his relatives, his son-in-law and a bunch of others, did business with Pride Roofing because they did what they say we're going to do.
All right, you said something you needed to get to?
Here we go, folks. It is Mindset Day. ABC. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the 3rd day of the week, Mindset Day. Here's what Brian Kelly is trying to get out of your football team. And the first thing we talk about is consistency. He mentioned it again today. You can't just have a good practice on Monday, in La La Land on Tuesday, and then you come back Wednesday. You got to put back to back to back, and this week is brutal because
he's the golf analogy.
So consistency. Got to play consistency as a team, as a unit, as a complete year. Second thing, communication. How many times have we seen the safeties and the DBs? I didn't know I had safety coverage over the top. DJ Chester's a redshirt freshman. He's got to communicate. Nuss is a quarterback. Got to communicate. The clock goes down today, and it's a penalty. At 5, he's got to tell the guys, we got to snap it or call a timeout. Got to have communication. Number 3, we get into composure. Jacoby and Guillory, Harold Perkins, all the badasses that want to show that brand. Man, I'm a tough mofo. Guess what? Got to do it under composure. We've talked to football players all through all our years that we've covered between me and you, 60 plus years. And you always say, Todd, Kevin, Perk, Jacobian, why did you punch him? He called my mama. He did this. If you punch somebody in the helmet and you break a wrist, you go, got to have better composure. Got to be more composed.
I think in these cases, it's not saying something like that. It's probably giving them an extra elbow and when they're trying to get up. It's stuff like that.
Number 4C, concentration. When you get down inside the red zone, you've got to focus in. You've got to concentrate the football in to the end zone and score instead of dropping it and kicking a field goal. Concentration, everybody knows how important that is. Commitment. Is every player on this team going to make the commitment that it takes to get the best out of their team? And look, this is not easy. When you're 2nd or 3rd in the depth chart, you might say, F it. You know, I'm not going to work as hard. I'm not going to be as prepared. What kind of commitment? When you have great leadership, everybody buys in. I think they got a commitment. Number 6, confidence. It doesn't matter what you're doing in life, especially in football. Look, Nuss, the last time he stepped on the football field, drove LSU, albeit against Wisconsin in the bowl game, for a winning touchdown. That extols confidence. But right now, there's not a lot of confidence because it's the dog days of summer, and they're having some INTs and some mishaps. But got to play with confidence. Number 6 is control, control the line of scrimmage. This LSU football team has a chance to control ball possession because they potentially have one of the better offensive lines in the country if they can get DJ Chester flanked by 2 guards with much experience and the 2 best tackle tandems in the country. One a first-team All-American, the other one a second team. Got to control the line of scrimmage. And, of course, on the defensive side, got to get a push and control at the point of attack so your linebackers can run free. If you do all 7 of those things, then you get to compete for a championship. Those are the C's on Mindset Day. Brought to you by Man Defined Meats, our tidbits where flavor and spice really do say it all.
And
you
just queued me up. Let me run the commercial.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
There you go, man. The flavor says it all. And Buddy Spicy Tidbits are brought to you by Manda's, and been with Buddy for what, 30 plus years?
30 plus years. They are the official smoked sausage of LSU athletics, and they are the sponsor on every show that I do: radio, TV, internet, Facebook, YouTube, the whole 9 yards. Couldn't do it without them. Claire, Bobby, everybody doing a great job. Locally owned and operated, just like all of our great sponsors. Please patronize them. You will not be disappointed.
Rick Loetti says, Mike, Buddy, y'all making me hungry with that Manda sausage ad in Tennessee. Licking my chop. Every time that commercial runs and we can see it on the screen while it's rolling, I'm like, man, that looks so good. I mean, first of all, because it's professionally shot, but I mean, that looks so good on that pit. It does make you hungry. And
Joey asked me if I could bring her some good sausage next time. And
yeah.
She said, and that means Manda.
She likes the green onion like
yeah,
that.
exactly.
Here we go. Chance Babin, Mike, is LSU going to get commitment from the tight end from South Carolina? I put in a prediction from Mike Tyler to LSU last month, end of the month, and I need to reach out to him and talk to him again.
Saturday, huh?
And but yeah, I'm sticking with it. So
he's committing Saturday.
Yeah. And so there you go. And Dane says, I'll be in Baton Rouge on Saturday. I would like to link up with y'all after practice. Dane, after we've been out there in the heat, and I got to come home and edit video and do all the work I got to do, and a commitment. I don't know what use I'm going to be on Saturday.
Well, look, somebody asked me about that. In fact, PFM and others have been asking me about it. As soon as we wind down and tie up the date on the Thursday night, a lot of people want to come to that.
Yeah, we need to figure that out. Yeah.
Dane, you and Dr. Daniels will see us, but like Mike says, after that heat and all, as you can tell, I'm usually ready to get on the couch and relax a little bit.
Yeah, here he is, Blake Ruffino in the house, AYS Sports. Mike told me today he thinks LSU is going 16-0. No, that's you, Blake. That's you.
Hey,
I teased Buddy when he drove up tonight. I said, man, between you and Blake, I'm about to go 16-0.
I had Blake on the show the last couple of weeks, and appreciate that, and appreciate all those guys out there who are young and have this insatiable appetite, because we're feeding every little morsel and tidbit, and people want to know it. And there might be different opinions because everybody sees different things. But Blake and Zach and all the guys that go out there.
We have a lot of great new media.
Really do.
And they've come on the scene in Baton Rouge in the last half a dozen years.
And look, I want to bring this up one more time, but if you could, please pray for Ed Daniels. We still don't have any update. It's been very tight-lipped with the family, but we just hope that all of you will put him and Robin and their family in your prayers tonight.
Absolutely. All right. We'll take care of you, Chris, the Notre Dame fan. Good night. Dane Bergeron says, my parking passes and season tickets arrived today. You know, Dane, you could tell me and speak for yourself, but it sure seems to me, I know as a media guy who's got a press pass, if you're a season ticket holder, you're certainly getting your money's worth. The home slate this year is fantastic. Especially if we get, and I'm praying for it. I would love for us to get some cool weather early as possible. But some of those late season games, if there's no rain and the weather's nice, it should be some, it could be really, really outstanding with some of those great teams that come late in the season.
Hey, by the way, next week we will have the game schedule with the times, and so we'll be able to refer to it. We've got so many other things going on, but next week we'll be able to tell you. I don't think there's a possibility for an early morning game, but we'll look. I think the earliest would be, like we said, in that 2 to 5 window, 2:33, 3:30, whatever. But no Bourbon and Cheerios game in Tiger Stadium, like the way I'll say it.
Fire 3449. Ed, absolutely. Any news on Greg Brooks? I don't have anything new on Greg Brooks. but I'll find out.
Another one where it's a long, tedious process. Please put Greg and his family in your prayers.
Paul from Metairie, Mike and Buddy, who is your under the radar team in the SEC? Mine is Auburn, not to win it, but I'm with you. Auburn is going to be dangerous to some people. You know, they got to get the Jims and Joes. I think they've done pretty good. Hugh Freeze is a fantastic coach. I honestly haven't dissected their schedule week to week, but I think they're going to be better than people think. I believe that.
Yeah, look, everybody's having injuries, and Hugh Freeze is a great play caller. We'll see. I'm hearing from people that Tennessee's going to be a better on defense. They've got a great front seven, and they've got Nico, who brought in about $8 million.
I like Auburn better than Tennessee.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna take Tennessee over Auburn there. And look, Texas with the injuries, Sark getting a divorce, and all the other stuff. I still don't think Georgia's going to be undefeated. I just think there's going to be a lot of parity, a lot of 10-2 teams in the conference. And of course, how can you be underrated, Mike, when you got Georgia 1, Texas 4, Alabama 5, Ole Miss 6, Missouri 11. Missouri's got a super easy schedule early, and then LSU 12, and the coaches in 13 in the AP. So Texas A&M, Mike Elko. That'll be a tough game when LSU plays them on the road, back-to-back roads. But it's kind of hard. Auburn, kind of weird. No Auburn and Mississippi State on the schedule this year.
And I'm still kind of like forgetting that.
Yeah.
All right, Alumni Hall, Tiger fans. Best place to get all your LSU fan gear. Alumni Hall. Shop their store off Blue Bonnet in Perkins Row, or shop online at alumnihall.com. They've got it all. Nike, Champion, Onward Reserve, Southern Tide, Peter Millar. Nicest polos you've ever seen. They've got a whole wall of it. You need to get in there and get them now. They're going to have all the Nike polos that the coaches you're going to see wearing on the sideline this fall. Shop with them. You can earn rewards on future purchases with their Hall Pass Rewards program. I have this discount code to share with my friends and subscribers. So when you shop, use the code TigerBait, all one word, TigerBait. You can use it in the store at the register when you're there, or you can use it online when you go to check out TigerBait. You're going to get 10% off your purchase. So go shop with my friends over at Alumni Hall and use the code TigerBait to save. And what about Capital City Grill? Yeah. One thing we can try to do with all our TigerBait sponsors is partner with locally owned businesses that we've experienced firsthand. And I can tell you, the club sandwich and the Sunday brunch at Capital City Grill is fantastic. This football season, we're proud to add Capital City Grill to our lineup. Located at 100 Lafayette Street in downtown Baton Rouge, Capital City Grill is your ideal lunch and dinner stop for your casual dining experience. Capital City Grill features a variety of sandwiches, burgers, seafood, pasta, and steaks, with almost everything priced at $30 or below for an affordable experience. And don't forget to celebrate a Tigers win at their Sunday morning brunch. I'm telling you, it's fantastic. 11 to 2. So book your reservation online at capitalcitygrill.net and make sure to let them know TigerBait sent you in. And I'm telling you, I've had their Sunday brunch. I've become a brunch guy on Sundays, and it's fantastic. And especially if you're coming in for a game weekend and you're staying at any local hotel, especially if you're downtown, hit Capital City Grill brunch. You might see me there on your way out before you get on the highway to head back to Shreveport or wherever. And in fact, I'm hoping Tiger Shark, we're going to do that 1 or 2 games this season when he comes into town. So there you go.
Alumni Hall, once again, don't forget, give yourself 20 or 30 minutes. It's not a quickie type of place. Get in there, look at all the stuff. Don't forget about the discount. And I've been going to Capital City Grill for a long, long time and never had a bad deal.
They have a
unbelievable variety. And that brunch, like you, I'm a Saturday brunch guy more so than a Sunday brunch guy.
They have a skillet loaded with potatoes and egg and bacon, and they load it up with cheese. And I was laughing. I said, this is a hangover meal right here. Really fantastic food. At that price point, you're not going to beat Capital City Grill, I assure you. John Sibley Butler, Georgia played in the old SEC East. Now that is a pass. Still can't get with Georgia, especially after Nuss lit them up in the second half of the SEC championship.
They just have too many tough games for me to believe they're going to win it all. Carson Beck, by the way, was the first team All-American quarterback pick, but man, they're losing Brock Bowers and a bunch of studs. The center that they got from the state of Louisiana, Cedric Van Pran. I just, once again, it's going to be interesting to see, Mike, and we talked about this a little bit on the show this week. What happens if you have an 11-1 team, whether it's Georgia or whoever, and then 4 10-2 teams? The SEC still has not come up with the tiebreaker yet. So we're waiting to see what that is going to involve. But I really believe you're going to have a lot of teams beating each other up. And if you know a team that's going to be undefeated, you're probably smarter than Mike and I.
Yeah, it's. Are you in favor? Do you like the 8 game, or are you determined that it should be 9 game schedule?
Well, see, this is the problem you have. We're going into a new system for 2 years where there's going to CFP is going to take 12 teams. So everybody knows number 13 gets the shaft this year. That being said, if you go to 8 games, then you got to have one blockbuster non-conference game. LSU's got 2 this year, 2 Power 5s, USC and UCLA coming here on the return game. If you go to 9 games, that AD, you still got to schedule that tough non-conference game and then 2 cupcakes. I think most people are going to lean on 8. You play 1 toughie, and then they need those 3 cupcakes to make that big money.
I like the 8.
Yeah.
Because I'm still thinking of the SEC title game.
Yeah. Well, look, we'll find out, but most going to 26, it will be 14.
And is that going to be a liability for some teams?
What?
The SEC title game, other than getting a bye.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, the winner gets the bye, automatic conference, but
to play in it.
But what happens to the loser?
Yeah.
Suppose a team's 10-2 and they lose, and now they're 10-3. That might knock them out. We'll see. It's hard to know, but going to be interesting.
Yeah, let's see. Let me scroll up here. Travis Wilburn. Auburn is going to give Alabama some fits over the next 3 years. Auburn is getting all the Alabama high-end recruits, and they're spending some money.
Yeah.
They are positioned very well NIL.
Well, Hugh Freeze stirred up a hornet's nest this week because on Marty and McGee, he literally said, we should have beaten Nick Saban 4 times. Now, they beat him twice, but they gave up the 4th and 31, and then they gave up another crazy play that they were winning 28-3, I think Hugh Freeze says. But look, he's cocky. He's going to do some things. I just think it's going to take them a little bit. But man, seeing that we don't see LSU play Auburn and Mississippi State, probably not going to watch them as much.
I'm okay with Mississippi State.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Auburn's one you're going to miss.
Yeah, Auburn and LSU been some classic games, but I think Tennessee has got a better chance, but we'll see. Nico might not be worth the $8 million.
Dane Bergeron says SEC needs to go back to 2 divisions with realignment if they're going to keep the SEC championship game.
It's done, Dane. No more divisions.
Yep.
I understand what he's saying, though. Hey, but look, I'm glad they did it this way. Georgia's had an easy-ass schedule for years on the Eastern. You know the East has not been as strong as the West. Now Georgia's got a blockbuster schedule. This is a tough schedule Georgia's had in a long time.
I don't have a problem with it if Florida was traditional Florida or like under Meyer. But the fact that they've been lost in the wilderness for so long, and then you can get the whole debate of who's going to get their pink slip first, Pittman or Napier. But no, it hasn't been. And I just think when they put out the 8-game schedule and the way it stacked up for LSU, I can't think of a more favorable schedule for LSU in 30 years than this one this year.
Yeah.
And that's with USC.
By the way, if you're a Gator fan, They literally could go 4-8. Now I know you're saying, look at their schedule. They've got the toughest schedule in the country, and they play Miami at home in the first weekend.
Miami lays the wood to
if they don't win that game, Billy Napier will be calling his stockbroker midseason saying, hey, what should I do with this 15 or I don't know how many million they're going to pay. But I don't want to sound like I'm negative on the Gators, but I would be surprised if he survived that schedule this year.
Well, maybe he can talk to his buddy Lane Kiffin and see if he'd be interested in buying his house.
Well, I know you've connected the dots there. I told an Ole Miss fan that Ole Miss has pushed all those chips in. We haven't really talked about that, and I keep trying to build.
I think the odds are so high for Lane Kiffin at Florida. It's not even funny.
Well, a lot of people wanted him here. Who was that, Bulldog or Bullfrog, whatever his name was? He beat me and you up because Kiffin didn't get a. Kiffin was not mature enough to get an interview from Scott Woodward. We'll see. I dropped off some food for my sister, and she asked me point blank. And I'm going to ask you right now, because we've seen a good portion of practice so far. But invariably, how many years away is Brian Kelly at LSU back in the SEC championship game?
That ties into the CB Allen's remarks right here.
And the second question, do you think he will win a national championship at LSU?
CB Allen, 9-3 this year for Brian Kelly with this schedule is simply unacceptable in year 3. I'll say this. I'm going to go 9-3 unless there's a couple of bad injuries in the next couple of weeks. I'm going 9-3. I can just about tell you. 9-3 probably doesn't get you in the playoffs.
No, they won't get in the playoffs at 9-3. No.
All right.
Not with this schedule. No.
So if you don't get in the playoffs this year and you don't get in next year, there's trouble. There's trouble.
I'm not putting any numbers out there right now. I want to see the last schedule that we get a chance to see.
You're eventually going to have to do it, buddy.
What's that?
You're eventually going to have to give a prediction.
Yeah. No. I just want to see. We see drills and we see a little bit, but and let's kudos to give Brian Kelly a shout out tonight. Football coaches are the most paranoid coaches on any campus. We've all been there. Donardo found out we were giving reports on the radio, internet, and all that. Georgia read it. They knew this guy was injured, so all of a sudden we lose access. Curly, closing practice. Dumbass, red shirts, Alan Faneca, Hall of Famer. No wonder he didn't want us to see. We go on and on. Nick gave us a little bit. Calisthenics, warm-ups, and all that. But this year, Brian Kelly has given us more access. I think he gives us an opportunity.
And he gets furious if our views obstructed the day one.
Exactly.
I thought he was mad because we were up there.
We're not kissing the coach's ass. We are simply saying thank you for letting us.
I've told him thank you. I'm appreciative of it.
But thank you for letting us to know, because we do film for 20 minutes on some days, but we get to see. And once again, that is a nice luxury. I was talking to Gillen, of course, who covers the Saints and Tulane and all. Everybody's got different philosophies. I still think that him giving us more access makes me believe that he's not hiding as much last year. I think the big thing I want to get over tonight is that this team is going to get better each week. Now, where can they be on September 1? And where can they be after 5 weeks? They get an open date, play an Ole Miss. Then they've got 3 more games, got another open date, play Alabama. And I'm sorry, I agree with that man. The last 3 games you should win. If you can't win at Florida, at home against Vanderbilt, at home against Choklahoma. Oops, did I say that?
I'm going to tell you this. If he can get in the playoffs this year, if everything goes right, injury bug doesn't hit, and everything that the coaches staff has done defensively and it all comes together. If he does get in at one of the last playoff teams, it really sets the table for him the next 3 years, I think.
Well, let's have a little fun since we had fun
because it's almost like he's sneaking in this year in my mind.
Yeah.
If he's able to do that, it really sets him up well. Particularly like Danny Girl just posted in the chat, when you lose the entire offensive line for the most part.
Right. Well, but here's the thing. Let's have some fun, because the Notre Dame people just love playing LSU, don't they? How cool would that be if LSU got in and played Notre Dame in the first round in the playoffs? Man, that's what you love about college football, don't you?
Yeah, I'm be curious to see what Denbrock does with the offense up there. So, all right, everybody, please hit that like button if you enjoyed the show. Hit the subscribe button, notification bell. We'll be back with practice report after Saturday, and I think we're going to have a pretty good eye full on Saturday. Of course, we've got Brian Kelly, our practice report from earlier today's up on here on our channel. Go to TigerBait.com, subscribe. I think I've got another newsletter going out tomorrow, so be sure to subscribe to TigerBait. You'll get that. And, of course, when you subscribe, you also get our text alerts and a lot more. So Brian Lazar's got another analysis piece coming. So it's going to be here before you know it. And I'm going to start hitting high schools next week. High school scrimmages, jamborees, and you blink and the season's here.
I just want to remind you, folks, LSU and everybody else is still undefeated. Once again, the start of college football is 10 days. August the 24th, Florida State and Georgia Tech, Dublin, Ireland. It starts.
That's the game. LSU's trying to get in that game.
They want to get in that game. But
You
I'm
going to
saying,
that? Would you rather go that or Vegas?
10 days.
I'd like to go to Ireland. I'd like to do that one.
Yeah, I if I could get an NIL sponsor, I'd probably go on that one. But be safe, stay hydrated, and once again, appreciate all the followers. And look, my glass is half full. You got to have a lot of things happen. There's some potential, but a lot of new stars. Study that roster. You don't want to be embarrassed when your honey says, "Who is that?" Zero just scored a touchdown.
Put in the comments if you like the idea of LSU playing that Dublin game. Because when you play that, what is it? You're 2 weeks before.
Well, no, this is week 0. So,
but if you play week 0, are you off the next week?
Well, yeah, probably so. Probably so because of the travel. So
yeah. Are you for that or against it? So all right, post your opinion of that in the comments if you're for it. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Had a great show tonight. Great crowd. And thanks to all of you for tuning in and helping us grow TigerBait, LSU Tigers on TigerBait. We'll see y'all Saturday. Good night.